I came up with the idea for this project one night when I was waiting for dinner at a restaurant with my son and we were playing tic tac toe. He's only 4, so he's still just learning, but he seems to really like playing it. And I remember playing this with my dad when I was little in situations like that. And it's just, it's a timeless game. So I thought it would be really cool to try and make my son a tic tac toe board that he could hand down to his son. So I started by making some boxes out of some pieces of walnut that I had. I created one for the outside of the box and glued that together, and then I started working on a second one that'll work as a drawer and hold the little game pieces that I've got going. Once I got those glued up, I decided on a piece of cherry to use for the top and bottom and give the walnut a little bit of a contrast. Cherry and walnut is definitely one of my favorite combinations. I used my Laguna F1 table saw and Hercules miter saw from Harbor Freight to cut the top and bottom pieces down to size, and then use some Titebond to glue them in place. Once I got them glued in place, I tried to use a zero trim bit on my router to trim up the top and bottom and make sure that they were the same size as the box that I built. I never have very good luck using zero trim router bits. I don't know what the deal is, but if you have any suggestions, drop them in the comments. That is definitely one of my weak points as a woodworker. I got a bunch of burning and a little bit of tear out, so I decided to use my table saw to clean those edges up. Once I got my edges cleaned up, I had to figure out how I was going to get the pattern added on to the top. I hopped back on the table saw to do this and make the little grooves. Once I got my grooves cut, I cut up some pieces of walnut just thick enough that they would fit in those slots and glued them in place using some more Titebond. Once I got them in place, I had to figure out how I was going to trim them up. Trimming up the sides was pretty easy using a pull saw, but I think I got a little sketchy trimming up the top pieces using the band saw. I was very lucky not to get my fingers too near the blade on this one, but you can see it's a little bit sketchy. Once I got those trimmed up, I used my sander to make sure that everything was nice and flat using the pencil trick by drawing little pencil lines and just sanding until everything sanded down nice and flat. Then I went around and sanded the rest of the box. Then I added some little magnets to hold the drawer in place so that it'll stay closed and we can move it around, and if he wants to take it in the car to a family event or something, we can do that. Then I decided to use my Ryobi router. I really love that router. It's just a quick, easy tool to grab to add a little bit of a round over to this box. Next, I mixed up some Rubio Monaco Pure and got that added, and you can see here it really makes the walnut and cherry pop. Then I decided to hop on the lathe and turn down a little drawer pole for the drawer and got that sanded down and finished with some more Rubio Monaco. Then I glued that in place to finish up this piece. I really love the way it turned out, and my son loves it. We've already played a few games on it, and I'm sure have a whole bunch more to come. Let me know what you think down in the comments below. Thanks so much for watching.